A major victory at the polls for those looking to safeguard women's access to abortions in the state of Kansas in the first test at the ballot box since the Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. ABC's congressional correspondent Rachel Scott is joining us now inside that resounding defeat for those hoping to push anti-abortion rights momentum forward. And it's one of the biggest stories of this election season. Good afternoon to you, Rachel.
Hey, Amy. Well, it certainly is. And I can tell you that both sides of this issue were caught off guard by these results because this was an overwhelming show of support for abortion rights in a very conservative state. This is a state where abortion rights advocates knew that they had their odds stacked up against them here. You have more registered Republicans than Democrats. This is a state that former President Donald Trump won by 56% of the vote. And for the first time, voters were weighing in directly on the issue of abortion rights since Roe v. Wade was overturned just 6 weeks ago. On the ballot, this question of whether or not to amend the state's constitution to remove protections for abortion rights. Well, voters in this conservative state sent a very clear message that they want to protect the right to an abortion. But across the country, 14 states have stopped nearly all abortion services. And so when you look at the map now, Kansas becomes a safe haven, an oasis in an abortion desert in the Midwest, Amy.
And Rachel, one of the big headlines, the voter turnout in the state of Kansas. What did we see happen yesterday there?
I could tell you we were seeing lines that you would see normally during a presidential election cycle. The Secretary of State says that this was basically double the amount that they saw during the 2018 midterm elections. And Amy, you know this, in these primaries, it all comes down to turnout, and the voters 100% turned out for this primary, Amy.
Yeah, they were obviously motivated. We are just 100 days away from the midterm elections. So a lot of people now reading the tea leaves. What we see or just saw happen in Kansas reflect what we may see come in November through states across this country?
Yeah, and this is a big one for Democrats, Amy, because they are really looking at what happened here in Kansas. They were following this Tuesday primary very closely, hoping to pick up some type of clue about what this could do in the midterm elections, what kind of impact it could have in just less than 100 days when voters head to the polls. They want the issue of abortion rights to be a galvanizing issue for Democrats. And President Biden, also following this very closely, he weighed in too, just as these results came in, saying that this proves that the majority of Americans want to protect the right to an abortion, Amy.
Rachel, you're there. You've watched everything unfold. I'm just curious what the mood is like. What are people saying? What's the feeling there in Kansas today?
You know, Amy, I could tell you that I really think that this represents sort of the middle of America, right? Where voters are on this issue. There's so much nuance when it comes to the issue of abortion rights. We always talk about the extremes, which way people are one way or the other. Well, here in the state of Kansas, you have conservative voters who say maybe they don't want to see abortion banned entirely. They do believe there should be some limitations. And we could see this idea of whether or not voters are weighing in on this issue ripple across the country, Amy.
All right, Rachel Scott there for us in Kansas. Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.